In this video, I'm going to show you 4 different ways I tried to normalize the volume of my music collection. Each method had different levels of success, so keep watching to come on a journey with me and decide which is most suitable for your needs. If you're anything like me, you might have a music collection that has been building for years or decades. My music has come from all sorts of places over the years, like CD rips, purchased downloads, copying from friends, and even less official places. Let's just say that I'm of an age where I've lost an entire laptop to LimeWire in the early 2000s. As you might imagine, the volume levels of my music are all over the place, with some being fine, some too loud, and some too quiet. I have my collection set up so that I have full albums in MusicBee, and these get put onto iPods modded with Rockbox, as a lot of the files are FLAC format. I use iTunes for random songs and mixes I've downloaded. These get put onto iPods running regular iPod firmware, and I usually play these on shuffle. This is where the volume problem is most noticeable for me. It gets annoying having to manually adjust the volume when certain songs come on. I did a little research, and apparently the issue is less that my quiet songs are mastered too quiet. It's more that modern music since the late 1990s has been pushing the loudness up too high, frequently causing clipping in the tracks. Clipping is a form of audio distortion that occurs when a sound signal is pushed beyond the maximum volume limit a digital audio file or playback system can handle. As a result, a lot of us reduce the volume in our players so that we can listen to the louder tracks at a comfortable level, making the correctly mastered tracks seem too quiet. That sounds reasonable to me anyway. So after years of being lazy and ignoring it, I decided to see if I could finally fix it. What follows is a rabbit hole I fell into, so join me as I explore a few different ways of normalizing the volume of your music collection. Like I said, I listen to full albums in MusicBee and then sync them to my iPod's running Rockbox. MusicBee has a native ReplayGain feature, which can be found by selecting the tracks you want to normalize, then go into Tools, then Analyze Volume. In this window, you want to keep on-track basis and on-album basis options checked. These optimize volume for both individual tracks, which is ideal for shuffle playback, and by album, which is ideal for listening to full albums. Leave the slider at 0 decibels. This adheres to the standard 89 decibel replay gain target. Once you click Proceed, MusicBee will analyze the audio waveforms and write the replay gain, track gain, and replay gain, album gain tags directly into your file headers. After syncing those files to your player, Rockbox will read them automatically. This stage will take some time, depending on the size of your music collection. Once it finishes, you can check it added the tags by checking the extended tags in a program like MP3Tag. This method hasn't actually changed the volume of any of your files, it's just added metadata to each file, which tells MusicBee how to automatically adjust the volume when it plays them. In order to utilize this new volume information in your iPod running Rockbox, you need to configure some settings in Rockbox. First, resync your music to your iPod so that the music on your iPod contains the replay gain tags we just added via MusicBee, and then update the database. When this is complete, in Rockbox, navigate to Settings, Playback Settings, and Replay Gain. Select Track Gain if shuffling. When you play a full album sequentially, Rockbox automatically uses album gain. If you ever switch to shuffle mode, Rockbox intelligently flips to track gain, leveling out individual songs so a quiet album track doesn't get drowned out next to a loud single. Set Prevent Clipping to Yes. This automatically lowers the volume slightly on loud tracks if applying replay gain would push the signal beyond 0 decibels, protecting your audio from harsh digital clipping. Leave preamp at 0 decibels. Replay gain's default target provides plenty of headroom. You can increase this if your headphones are unusually quiet, but 0 decibels keeps audio clean and neutral. This method seems to work well for me. I've been listening to albums for a week or so after applying this, and the volume level has been pretty consistent. So thumbs up to MusicBee. Apple uses its own built-in feature called Sound Check to handle volume normalization. Similar to replay gain, it scans your tracks and applies a decibel gain value to the metadata for iTunes to apply during playback. Here's how to enable it. In iTunes, go to Edit, Preferences, Playback. Check the box for sound check and click OK. You'll see the wheel turning in the top right, indicating that it's working on it. On your iPod, go to Settings, Sound Check, and On. You will also have to resync the music so that the files on the iPod have the data you just added. So I followed these steps and applied sound check and added the data to the songs, as I knew of a couple of songs that have very low volume compared to the rest of my collection. This is the weird thing. On this quiet song, iTunes actually added data to make it even quieter during playback. So I checked how it sounded compared to a track I knew was already okay, and sure enough, the quiet track was still quiet in comparison. So basically, I can't recommend the iTunes method, as it just doesn't seem to work. So I moved on to find another method and landed on MP3Gain, which looked like it should do what I wanted. It alters a structural header inside MP3 frames without re-encoding the audio quality, making all tracks uniform while allowing you to undo the process later if needed. I downloaded the file, installed the software, and then when I went to run it, I was hit with a weird error saying this file or one of its dependencies was not correctly registered, a file is missing or invalid. This led to a troubleshooting detour where I had to download a patch file, copy it to a certain folder in my computer, and then register the path to it before MP3Gain would even open. I since found that this software has been unsupported for over a decade, which explains compatibility issues with modern operating systems. Anyway, so I got the program running. First I set the display to show only the file name, as showing the whole path isn't very useful. It means you can't actually see the file name. And I added my music folder. As I wanted to analyze random tracks rather than albums, I hit the track analysis button. If you want to analyze just an album, hit the album analysis button. And then I let it go to work. As you can see, this is a long process. After a few hours, it finished the analysis. It found an issue with most of the music files. Most of them needed volume adjustment and had clipping issues. Now it was time to apply the gain data to the files. I was unprepared for how long this would take. I tried it with just over 1,200 tracks, which really is only a small slice of my music library. And after 9 hours, it was still not even halfway complete. I decided to cancel and try again with fewer tracks, but cancelling it caused the program to crash, and now it wouldn't analyze anything in my music folder anymore. I tried it on a different folder and it worked, but somehow my main music folder was tainted as far as MP3Gain was concerned. I did a little fault finding to see if there were any zombie processes running or locked files causing it to not work, but found nothing. Even after uninstalling and reinstalling and restarting the laptop, it still didn't work. So I gave up on MP3Gain at this point. I'd wasted more than enough hours on this program, so I decided to cut my losses and move on. But at least we learned something. Don't use MP3Gain. My next stop was another free program, this one called foobar2000. I was already familiar with this one as I occasionally use it to convert FLAC files to MP3. Once downloaded and opened, drag and drop the files you want to update. With all files selected, right-click, go to ReplayGain, scan per file, track gain to bring every song to the exact same average loudness level. To update the file tags, click Update File Tags at the bottom right of the scan window to save this gain data to the files. Next, select all tracks in foobar2000, right-click the selection and go to Replay Gain, Apply Gain to File Content. Leave all settings as they are and click Start. If you have a big music library, it might take a while to finish. My library of over 4,000 tracks took just over an hour. When it is finished, you then need to refresh the iTunes metadata. So in iTunes, select all songs, right-click, go to Get Info, edit when prompted, OK. Apparently you shouldn't need to, but I'd just like to change something inconsequential like the comments field, so I know the files are definitely going to be updated. After they're finished, you can check the extended tags in MP3 tag to see the gain data has been added. You will also need to resync the music to your iPod. iTunes won't resync songs where you have only edited something like the comment field, so I found the easiest way is to sync a different playlist to your iPod, which removes the music on the iPod in the process, then sync the playlists you originally had back onto it. The sound check setting is not important if you use this foobar method. Since the audio data itself has been permanently normalized here, the songs will play at the balanced volume level everywhere, whether sound check is on or off in iTunes, and on any device you play them on. The only downside I experienced of using foobar was that it doesn't support M4A files, as you can see by this error message I got after updating. For me, it's not a big deal as most of my files aren't M4A, but if you've got a lot of M4A files in your collection, you might want to use another program like AAC-Gain, which supports AAC and M4A files, and apparently works in the same way as MP3Gain, but hopefully better. After normalizing the volume levels with foobar2000, I've listened to playlists where the tracks had volume levels which were all over the place before I started this journey. I can confidently say we now have a winner. All tracks are playing at roughly the same level, so no more having to constantly adjust the volume when playing music on shuffle. Not only does it faithfully convert my audio files for free, it now also lets me listen to them at a normalized volume. Thank you, foobar. I hope you enjoyed this video and it helped you out with normalizing music files. I learned a lot and it was quite a journey, and it's been pretty helpful for me just to sort my collection out. So if you found it useful, let me know how in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Cheers!